Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the RigER webinar. Today is Thursday, and usually every week on Thursdays, we run our webinars. Today's topic is getting started with RigER. So my name is Nikolai, and I'm Sales and Marketing Manager at RigER, and I'm going to be the host for today's webinar for you. And this time, we just run a little different slide just before the agenda. Since we are very active in social media, we wanted to bring it up and make sure that every one of you who's online today with us have a chance to see where we are and how to connect with us. So we are on Instagram, Twitter. We're also on Facebook and LinkedIn. So do feel free to follow us, like us, LinkedIn or any other channel, and connect with us. Connect with us because there's many ways, and we're always there for you to stay in touch with us. And on that note, we move into another window where we can connect with you. It's YouTube. So all the videos that we record in our webinars, we are always sharing with you guys. So please do log into our website and click the YouTube icon, or just Google us, find us on YouTube, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you will find not full recordings of the webinars, but specific topics extracted from webinars so that it'd be shorter for you to view and then review it anytime you want. Today's topic is getting started with RigER, and I wanted to introduce you the presenters as well as an agenda. So we'll have Michael, the CEO and founder, the person who's running the whole organization here for us, presenting on the topic, as well as Gleb, our operations manager. Today, we're going to be talking about the methodologies that we follow when we install RigER for our clients. I think it's important because it is it's our own, and we've developed it, and it has proven to work for our clients. When we implement our software, the first steps include different implementation stages. So we will, in today's presentation, cover the core the core stages of our implementation process. So you will see, what do we do when you sign up for the RigER to run your operations management system in the office. We'll also touch on updates and upgrades. Here I wanted to highlight that it's important to know that RigER is an evolving product, and we are now on version 4.3. So we are scheduling releases and improvements and additions to the functionality of the program on an ongoing basis. So Michael will just briefly touch on that at the end. And we'll also dedicate some time to answer your questions, as well as touch on support. Understanding the importance of the customer success using our software, we do dedicate a lot of time to how do we support our clients the best way possible. So on that note, I wanted to give floor to Michael to dive right into the software development methodology of RigER.
Hello, everyone. Let's go and see what we have as a software development methodology. Here with RigER, we use a 5-step methodology how to design configuration, integration, testing, and training, and go live. And we apply this methodology to any projects which we run with our clients. So step number 1, usually it's operation blueprint, understanding what kind of business requirements we have, user setup, and figure out what kind of additional features we can add to the system. Step number 2 is actually coding, when we add more flavor to our product and run some internal development in the system. Step number 3, it could be integration with different systems, for example, accounting software, e-invoicing, it could be office software and other different packages. Step number 4 usually is testing. So every single new feature, we spend a lot of time to test and see how those new additionals works with the entire system and how it influences different features. And step number 5, we usually do training for our clients, and some of the hours, training hours, are mandatory. Some training hours are optional. So we'd like to be sure 100% that our users understand the system and understand how it works. And of course, the final result of our job is go to live, and the client has the system which 100% meets his business requirements.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gleb. Today, I'm going to show you how the implementation stages look like in RigER. And for every specific implementation stage, we have different actions. Actually, here you can see that we have 4 weeks proven implementation approach. So we are committed to deliver the RigER to you in 4 weeks or 1 month, roughly saying. And each week will be dedicated to a specific topic and specific actions. So on the first week, we usually set up the server and we configure the database. We build the scope of work for customization of your database. We communicate with you a lot in order to deliver the good product for you. On the second week, we usually set up the roles of users in the system. We customize the print forms, and we build the special reports if you require them from us. We also build and we implement the customized scope of work that we've discussed before. On the third week, usually we do a training for the users, and we share our experience how to utilize the software in the best efficient way, how to use different hotkeys in the system. And actually this week dedicated to the actual deployment of the system into your business operations. On the fourth week, we usually do integration with the accounting software or billing software if you require that. And we test the whole system and how it works, what should be fixed and what actually should be polished at the final step in order to give you the ability to work with the system smoothly and efficiently. And after that, we launch the system and we move our clients to the support stage. On each step, on each section and each stage, we have some kind of definitely time frames that we are committed to deliver and some deliverables that we deploy to you. So on usually implementation roadmap, and we deliver the project acceptance checklist to you. So we aimed to document all the actions that we are going to do with you. And in this case, we provided project acceptance checklist. Usually the data import and basic setup takes from 7 to 10 business days. All these time frames, they're depending on the readiness of the client mostly to deliver the necessary information to us. And we are able to comply with those timeframes if all the information had been delivered to us. Here's the information required on each step of the project from your side. And the most important thing here is to prepare the data in order to import it into RigER. We also prepare the training schedule and training acceptance letter. We also prepare the checklist that will be delivered to you after each stage. So both parties will be on one page, and we are aimed to deliver the product in the prescribed timeframes. And the most important, that the client is good and actually confirm the delivery of these stages. Our implementation expertise and experience lies in the different aspects. We've seen some challenges of our customers, existing clients, during the implementation stages. And one of them is business processes change. So usually it's very tough for the client to change the business process on the fly when the busy season actually is going on. And we have pretty much extensive industry expertise and consulting practice in order to consult you with the different approaches that you may implement in your practice in order to smoothly change the business processes. Also, before we provided formal training, so we've just described the system capabilities and different features in the system. However, we switched that approach to the practical training with real documents and cases when we ask our clients to enter the existing documents and on the existing jobs and to see how the program works. The best learning curve is when you try to do something by yourself, and you learn the software much faster and easier when you do it by yourself. So if any questions at this stage and this point, we are welcome you to answer us. Any questions that you may have, and yeah, we will continue a little bit later.
Thank you, Gleb. Yes, we do have one question, and it is about customization. Can we skip the customization stage? John is asking, because we don't think that we may need one. And if it's a out-of-the-box product, maybe that is not required.
Sure, that's a good question, actually. Yeah, the customization is very optional because we have pretty much the finished product. So we have print forms already in the system. It's based on the different clients' practice. So we combine the different approaches to the print forms, for example, and we built the actually universal print forms that we will fit probably to the most of our clients. However, if you require something special, and every document can be customized in the system, but again, it's optional thing. However, based on our practice and our implementation experience, I would say that the most of our clients come to the point that they need to customize the software to their specific purposes. And usually, if you decide to start the customization stage, the customization will take probably from 20 to 40% of the total implementation fee, because it's based on the hourly wages, our hourly fees that we charge for the customization. Usually we estimate, before we start the customization, we estimate how many hours we can spend on the specific topics and specific adjustments. We provide these estimations with you, and you approve it or not, and we will move forward from this point.
Okay, thank you, Gleb. I think we don't have any more questions, but if you are having any, please do send them along and we will address them later in the webinar. Thank you.
Today, the main topic of our conversation is the configuration and initial setup. And well, we will talk about now what we set up in a system and what kind of requirements we have to run RigER smoothly. So initial setup, it's usually done on the background. We assign a database PIN number, create new database, copy templates, publish on a server, create a thin client for use on Windows and Mac devices, create emails and notify implementation team about the new database and send all the links to users, build the database configuration, register database in the monitor and backup, create organization in RigER support and add users in RigER support server, and connect to the backup schedule. All our databases backup at night, usually between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and every night. So, the next step will be understanding what kind of clients we need for the system, thin client, web client, mobile client, a number of users, because RigER is a multi-user and multi-device environment. So you can use it in different platform and different devices. We have more than 50 different features in RigER, and they combine in different plans. We have more than 5 add-ons and 4 modules. So Depending on requirements, we can build a particular configuration with such a features open and ready to go for a particular client. And depending on the number of requirements and number of features, we can have a different configuration for the different client. The very important document is an implementation plan, and this is an example. And of course, every different client will have a different implementation plan from starting to the live start day, depending on what kind of requirements and what kind of customization particular client has. If we talk about configuration step by step, we have 8 main steps from choosing the starting date when we will run all our documents in RigER. Then rental units and serial numbers, unit numbers, setup, service, goods, materials, prices, taxes, company structures and users, clients, locations, and contacts. And then current rental agreements and beginning balances of the equipment will move to the client locations. So let's talk a little bit more precise about every step. Starting date. The starting date is a very important thing, and usually it could be a first day of the month or quarter or year. It could be a financial year. It could be a calendar year. And since that date, all the transactions, like all operations transactions, will be in RigER. And so to do that available, to have this in a system, we do a preparation documents before the start date, and actual documents they will be after the start date. So the preparation docs will be purchasing of the rental unit, all of the assembling list, settings of the database, intercompany movements if you have different yards, different locations, rental agreements, and rig-up delivery tickets or start delivery tickets to start the new job, the rental job, since that starting date. We have lots of different approaches how to dealing with that. In many cases, the best date will be January 1st, will be a calendar year, or it could be the financial year if it differ from January 1st. Like if you have a year and say March 31st, April 1st will be the best day to start this, all the operations in RigER. The next very important thing, it will be a rental fleet. So we need to understand and describe in the system list of rental units, fleet structure, kits, bundles, combo units, assemblies, serial numbers and unit numbers, sub-rental equipment, if any, vendors and warranties, if we need to track it, service and repairs, maintenance cycles, and other important data. So RigER is very robust system and has a lot of different information about rental fleets. As the better you provide the quality of the data, then better information you will have in RigER. In terms of rental fleet structure, here we have some of the example. So we have items and we have rental units and categories of different rental units. And then we have services, tools, and parts. So usually we have a rental group, and then we have a rental unit, and in the rental units we have a unit numbers or serial numbers. Another combination will be a combo unit, where we have several rental units bolted together for the particular job. If you have several rental units bolted together for the multiple jobs, we will use assembly for that purposes. And sometimes some of our clients use packages, which will be a combination between rental units and services. So in this case, we can build a rental fleet structure down the road, but we recommend to think about this before we'll provide data to RigER, because sometimes it could be a huge amount of data to move between different categories. We started, I would say that if we talk about rental units, we can handle from 100 units, like just like minimum, to multiple thousands of different units. I believe that the maximum records which we have right now would be maybe 10 to 15,000 of serial numbers, rental unit numbers. After we entering all the that volume of information, we need to purchase those units, and the purchase date could be actual purchase date or could be any date before the starting date. So we need to make those units available in the system. So we have 3 documents for that: purchase order, purchase invoice, a bill of lading. And in the purchase invoice, the purchase order, sorry, we enter book value and quantity and cost. And based on purchase order, we generate purchase invoice, and based on purchase invoice, we generate bill of lading, where we enter unit numbers or serial numbers of our units. It could be entered manually, or it could be uploaded from Microsoft Excel file. And after that, when we have them available, we can combine them and build assembly lists and combine units together and build assembly kit. For example, the good example of the assembly kit would be the tank and chassis. And so we can bolt them together and track 2 separate serial numbers as one serial number. And it could be for a number of months or number of years. So we will track them separately. However, it could be a different maintenance cycle for different, say, for chassis and for tank, and a different repair expenses, etc. So we can separate them and track them as different unit numbers. However, when we will move them to the field, it will be a 1 unit number. Another approach will be a combo unit. A combo unit, it will be pretty much the same approach. However, it will be only for the one job. So we put combo units together in a delivery ticket and disassemble them in a delivery ticket when we return the unit. Next thing, it's understanding what kind of services and additional goods we add to the system. So we need to add all the services which we will have in invoices. It could be a delivery, it could be pickup service, cleaning, trucking, any field jobs. Especially if we talk about oilfield services, so it will be a number of services. It could be a labor, it could be operator, supervisor, towers, etc. Then we do enter all the contractors, vendors, and warranties if we have any. Put some service metrics, hours, mileage, days, etc. Understanding what we do as inventory tracking, as parts and materials which we use for services, and other important data can be used as well. So service structure, it could be pretty much the same which we have for rental units. So the service structure will be a service group, service item, and it could be up to 5 to 7 different levels of groups of services. And we can connect services and rental units and back rental units and services. So when you select, for example, the generator, we can connect 2 services to this generator, and so deliver and pick up services will pop up automatically. And all kind of different things and all kind of different connections should be set up in RigER before we start working. Another point, we need to enter prices and taxes. It's very important in US, the sales tax. It's not really a big deal in Canada because in Canada, we have the province tax. In US, there are lots of different taxes and tax brackets. In terms of price, we have very robust and wide price management system in RigER. We can put a general price list. We can put the price book for general rentals. We can have a client price agreement, so where we can set a specific price for a particular client for a particular period of time. We can even select a specific division and put those separators and invoice different division of the client for different prices. And of course, we can apply some discounts. Next thing, company structure and users. So the company structure, we need to define what kind of departments we will have, what kind of internal location, shops, yards, storage, tanks, trucks we will use for to truck all our equipment and materials and goods. Field technician list, dispatcher operator list, different users' roles and rights. Who will see what? Who will be responsible for what? Who will do what? So the entire business process needs to be described and implemented in RigER. The next step, when we purchase items and they available usually in one shop or one yard, we need to allocate them and move them to the particular location where they stay at the start date. And in the start date, it will be intercompany transfer where we can move items from one location to another location, from one shop to another shop, from one yard to another yard. The next step, we enter clients, location, and contacts. So we have three levels of information about our clients. It will be a client list with billing addresses, emails, accounting ID numbers to integrate with accounting systems. Location, and it could be a sub-location. So if you have a pad with multiple wells, it will be pad will be a location and well will be a sub-location. And contacts, it's a company man where we have a name, position, phone, and email address, and some information which we'd like to track. And of course, we can have a history about clients, location, and contact. And this information needs to be in RigER when we start working with it. The next step, we enter current rental agreements and we define what we have right now for the starting date, where we have our equipment at the client's location. So we enter client's location, understand the number of rental units we have in every particular location, what kind of services we provide to this job, and dates and prices. So the rental service agreement will fix the prices, and we understand what we need to charge. And the next and a final step, we move actual unit numbers to the location. So we generate rig up or start delivery tickets and move our rental units to the particular location. And this is just a preparation and initial configuration steps of RigER. So we define the data, enter all the items and clients, generate a rental service agreement, and move all the equipment to the particular locations.
So now I'm going to describe the data import process a little bit in details. So everything starts with a settings menu when you go to import data tool and you open the import data screen. When you are able to select the different types of data that you are going to upload to RigER. So as you can see right now, we have a pretty much long list of different types of data that we upload. So it starts with the customers and contacts. We can upload sales tags. We upload the users list if you have a long list of users who will be working in the system. So we can upload it just in one spreadsheet. We also upload the rental units and unit numbers. That's the most important part of the data import, because everything is working around the rental units and its unit numbers. As you may already know, that we can have both types of rental units in the system, serialized and non-serialized. So if you use parts, for example, and they are not serialized, we can switch to the unserialized type of the rental unit, and it will not distract you to enter the unit numbers. We can also upload the trucks list. So if you have a long list of different transportation vehicles using in the job, we can also upload it in the system. The very recent addition to the system was purchase orders upload. So we've built the Excel spreadsheet when you can enter all the information from your original purchase orders and upload the whole bunch of purchase orders in the system. And definitely we upload the locations of the clients that you use, where you actually deliver the equipment to. So again, the different types of locations is supported in RigER. So we can track locations by wells, we can track locations by rigs, or just general site type of the location. So here's the actually 4 steps process how to upload the data. The first one is to download the Excel template from RigER. As you see on the previous screen, we have the template link. So you click on the link and you are able to save the spreadsheet onto your computer hard drive. The second step will be you enter your data or export your data from the working files to the RigER spreadsheet, and you save it. Close the document, and next step, just to upload the spreadsheet to RigER. Again, as you can see here, you click the choose file button, and here you are able to upload the filled in spreadsheet. The critical point here is just to keep with the XLS format of the file, because RigER works with this format of the file. So please keep going with XLS files and upload it to RigER, because if you will save it in different, for example, the new format like XLSX, the RigER will not recognize this file. And the final step, just check the data in the system. So before you hit the import button in the system, you'll be able to see the whole list of the data that you are going to upload. And if you notice some corrections that have to be done, you can just cancel the import process and to adjust the data in the spreadsheet and upload it again.
Thank you, Gleb. We were looking at some of the questions that keep coming in, and one of them actually relates to what you've just presented on. You mentioned something about the XLS files. That's an extension of the Microsoft Excel. But how about, here's a question from John again. How about if we have only CSV files? Do you guys work with that?
So here's a little trick that, yes, we can work with the CSV files. However, again, in order to finally upload it to RigER, we have to reconfigure this file into XLS file format and then upload to RigER. But again, yes, you can work with the CSV files, so you can upload those files from your external systems, ERP systems, or some accounting systems, and then to just reconfigure and to save file in the XLS format.
Thank you, Gleb.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, we use Excel because it's most common and most convenient format. So yes, you can massage your data, whatever, and understand how this should work. And any other formats could work. However, we mostly use them for the integration standpoint, or any other. Excel is most common thing which we use.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Well, you've just mentioned an integration, and I was browsing through the questions that we were receiving, and another question, and you may be probably be able to address that, is that, and it reads, what are there ERP or other systems I can use the data from to upload into RigER?
Yeah, and I believe we will come to this point right now. So it will be an answer here down the road. So let me speak about customization and how we usually do the customized thing in RigER. Most and common question about customization would be a print form adjustment. So say move the logo, change the type, insert text, move something, add some information to the print form. Yes, our print form are flexible. We can add even new print forms to the particular documents. Could be an additional pages, attachments, and even embed the signatures from the mobile devices when clients in the field sign something, and we can embed that signature to the print form. The crucial and most important thing in any customization will be a scope of work, where we can define and understand what kind of business requirements we have, what kind of business processes we have in the particular client. It could be a very, very complex thing. But without the scope of work, we couldn't do the customization. So, and the scope of work is a very important document, which gives us an opportunity to understand what kind of requirements the client has, and how we can realize this in the system. It could be user roles definition. It could be an additional features, special reports and dashboard, or even integration with different systems. So the customization work, the step-by-step process. It will be a business requirements understanding, build a scope of work, coding, internal testing, quality control, test run, adjustments, and go live. So it's pretty simple. However, sometimes it takes a lot of time.
As you might remember, one of the most important step of our implementation process is a training. Some of our clients usually ask us if we can skip the training, and we usually answer that no, unfortunately, because we understand that the system is pretty much extensive, and in some cases it's really difficult to operate. So the system usually requires some training, and we provide the training in two formats. The first one is it could be on-site training if you require to train the large group of people. So we usually come to your office and we provide 1 or 2 days training. So it's about 4 to 6 hours a session. Online training can be provided like we do it right now, so through the Zoom application, and usually it takes from 1 to 2 hours per person, or even for a group of people, to show some part of the program and to teach you. The main purpose of the training is to provide the detailed presentation and explain how all the features of the customized solution works. And also we do the real job documents test run with the customer and with the client. So we trying to replicate the whole process of the real life in the system and to see how it works. And probably the main purpose is to getting people ready to work with RigER eventually. And as outcomes of the training sessions, we we determine it's like trained staff. So we close the training when we are 100% sure that all the people understands what they are going to do in the system, how the things should work, and how the whole process looks like in the system, and to make it very smoothly and efficiently. And definitely we do a Q&A session. So we answer all the questions that arise during the training. And usually we see that on-site trainings are very useful because it raises a lot of questions, and we are able to answer them extensively, and to talk in person sometimes, and probably even in in the most times, it's more productive way to teach people.
If we talk about integration setup, I would say that integration is a number one trend right now in the software industry. Everyone wants to be connected, and if we talk about integration, RigER has a very robust integration with different systems. For example, Microsoft Office integration with Excel and Outlook. Excel we use to import data, export data, and export reports. Accounting integration with most common Sage and QuickBooks to export purchase invoices, sales invoices, rental invoices, credit memo. And with QuickBooks Online, we have two-way integration. It means that we can take data from QuickBooks and reverse send data to QuickBooks as well. Email and map give us an opportunity to do the email notification and reporting, and geo reports give us an opportunity to integrate with Google Maps and place our equipment to and show all the jobs in a Google Maps. And another big point, it will be e-invoicing integration. Through Enter My Invoice, we connect with Oildex and Cortex, and we can send sales invoices, rental invoices with attachments. The integration requirements, if we talk about integrate RigER with different systems, we need to understand the document flow, and if any information flow could be between systems. Say, for example, we have understanding how the information will flow from RigER to other systems, and how the information will flow from other systems to RigER. So it should be some sort of exchange of the information. Of course, we explore the technical ability of the system. So if it's system open or closed, if they have API and ability to import data, because sometimes some of the system, they told, yeah, we have an open API. However, the API can be limited by particular fields, and we couldn't transfer specific information from RigER. For example, if we talk about traditional accounting system, they have no start and end date of the service. And in RigER invoices for rental purposes, we have start and end date. And in this case, this information should be transferred to a different field, say, for example, comment, and convert it to the text format and edit there. So how the integration setup looks like in RigER. We select integration method because for some application we have different methods depending on what kind of technical requirements we have and what kind of limitations we have. After that, we do a mapping items and accounts. It could be item by item, say, for example, item in RigER and item in QuickBooks. Then it could be another approach. It could be one-to-one and one-to-many, where we can connect one item in QuickBooks with many items in RigER. And then we set up department and classes to understand the analytics of transactions and have this separated in every single invoice or even in every single line. The next, we set up bridge or install drivers, depending on what kind of technical solution we have. Make a test run, and after that, if everything works fine, we have daily, weekly export data. And export data frequency really depends on company needs. Any questions? Do we have any?
Yeah, there is one question, Michael, I think, and it actually asks something that we haven't touched yet. It's a GPS integration. So the question is, can RigER integrate GPS information or GPS tracking into their system?
Oh, good point. This is a very common question, and this is very usually the usual point which appear in oilfield rentals. The answer is that we track everything by documents. GPS systems track everything by physical locations. So, and in this case, there is no scenario where we exchange data from two different systems. And right now, I couldn't tell you how we can utilize this integration, because it will be pretty much the same data in GPS tracking and the same data in RigER. And we have no good scenario how this integration will work. However, we are still in process understanding how we can build the integration between those two systems. And one of the scenario which we considering right now is just to compare rental days by documents in RigER and rental days by physical presence in GPS tracking. However, in many cases, it's not a big deal because everything is negotiable in oil field. And if you figure out that kind of discrepancy, you need to, again, solve the problem with the client. It's not automatic thing which we can apply for the invoice.
Thank you, Michael. I don't think we have any more questions. Appreciate it all, guys. Thank you for asking them while we were presenting.
So the final step of our implementation process, and that's probably the most desired step. So to let our clients go live with the system, we check some critical points. The first one is database is configured properly, and all the wishes are taken into account and implemented in the system. All data should be imported in the system in the proper way and in proper format. And at this point, we usually ask our clients to confirm that all the data is in the system, so they are able to work with that. The customization should be completed as well. So we provide our clients with a checklist of our scope of works that we've developed with them together, and we require their approval on the customization stage as well. We make sure that users are trained and ready to work with the system without any other questions at this point of time. And actually, during the training, as I said already, we are running the entire document cycle, and we test that everything works good. And so let's assume that from the next day, clients start to work with RigER in the real life, and we should be 100% sure that everything will go smoothly. And the final step in this checklist and checkpoints process, we make sure that the first rental invoice is properly generated in the system and exported in the accounting software if the integration with the accounting software was requested. But the very final step will be, yeah, just to check that rental invoice is correct, accurate, and timely generated. So we make sure that we can bill our customers and the clients of our customers with properly generated invoices. After the go live checkpoint process, we move our clients to the support stage, and now all our users are able to provide and to request the support through the support desk, or just sending us emails with their questions.
And of course, we continue to deal with our clients after that implementation stage done. And down the road, we can talk about upgrades and updates. So at any time, the client can request an additional user, additional licenses, additional modules, or add an integration to the system. And it's normal process. Sometimes accounting integration can be done after 3 or 6 or 9 or 12 months after the operations running in RigER. And it's very common thing for our clients. And if we talk about our client support and product development, we do regular releases of new improvements, new features, new add-ons and modules. And usually, like previous years, we did it 4 times. This year we scheduled 3 times, 3 releases in this year. And the next one will be in May, and another one will schedule to September or October.
As a part of our ongoing support, we provide our clients with the ability to send us support requests through the support portal. We have launched it in June 2017. Since that time, we have received more than 500 requests. And as you can see, the most of them, probably 99% of them have been resolved successfully. We measure the customer satisfaction with a short feedback form after the issue had been resolved. So the average rate right now is 4.8 out of 5, and we've received more than 70 feedbacks at this moment. According to our service level agreement conditions, time to first response is 1 hour and time to resolution is 8 hours. Depending on the plan that you have subscribed to in RigER, it could be basic, business, enterprise. We provide different level supports, different supports level, and the time to resolution can be even reduced if you on the highest plan. And we encourage you to use our support portal because it works better than emails, and tickets will never be missed, and you will be staying on top of our intention all the time. One of the also useful feature in the support process of RigER, we have launched the learning center. We are fulfilling the contact on this learning center right now, and this is the system that actually allows you to search the content and search the answers on your question, just typing your question in the search field. And if we have already included the article and answer on this question, you will find it right away from the RigER Support Center. So support portal is connected with the Learning Center. And when you submit your support request to us, we can reply to you with the article from the Learning Center.
Thank you, Gleb, and thank you, Michael. It's been a very extensive session today, and thank you all for staying with us for that longer webinar today. I'd like to quickly summarize what we've been through, just to make sure that we all are on the same page. So we did, with Michael, cover the software methodology, which is something that we have developed internally and tested on many of our clients. It works, and it's been improved significantly, and it allows us to install the application the best way possible to meet the client's demands. Specifically, we covered the stages also of the implementation process. So an important step is configuration and setup, data import. And we did mention that when we import the data, we work with the Microsoft Excel spreadsheets in the XLS format. We also can work with the CSV files, but it's not a big deal for us which one we're going to work with. So we work with pretty much anything that can be converted into the Excel. We also touched on the customization, which is an important part of when we build a customized product for you guys. It's important because everyone has specific processes, and our methodology allows us to modify the product to fit your needs. We discussed training. Training is an important component, and it is part of our commitment to the customer success. We want you to succeed using RigER, and for that, we do provide extensive, yet overextensive, but sufficient training for you to get going. And we also provide ongoing support. Integrations was another thing that we've discussed today. An important aspect of any software these days, because everyone is integrated and want to share the information so that they would optimize internal data flow. So we do integrate with many applications, and more to come depending on the needs. So if you need something specific, you just let us know and we'll work with you on how we can make it happen. Well, go live is apparently the last and very important stage, but we're all excited to go live with you. Usually, our implementation process takes 4 weeks, or we try to strive for 30 days. I think that is the most, or the fastest rather, implementation process in the industry, and we're taking a specific pride in it. So once we installed, we still maintain the product, and we maintain it by providing regular upgrades and updates. And as again, our ongoing commitment to customer success, we provide ongoing support through Learning Center that you can access via RigER.ca. And we have different standards, and we try to make sure that any issue that comes up gets resolved timely. So that's a quick summary of our webinar today, and I'm welcoming any questions if you have. Thank you.
And yes, to find more information about RigER, see more videos, follow updates and news, please follow us on social media, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Bye.